The Playfun instrument uses a visual analog scale. That visual analog scale has been scientifically validated for many, many years and is used routinely in scientific investigations. That's why we use the VAS scale. What it means is it goes from 0 to 100 millimeters. So 0 would correspond to, in the world of pain, to no pain rating, and then 100 millimeters would correspond to the maximum pain you could ever even imagine. So for people experiencing pain, they would fill out a check along the 0 to 100 millimeter mark, somewhere where they believe they have their pain. Now we don't put numbers on there because that becomes a numeric rating scale. That defeats the purpose of the benefits of a visual analog scale. So when we're applying it to the Playfun instrument, how does it work? We take 0, and that means that you cannot perform the task. Not due to injury or anything like that, but you actually can't even execute the actual movement in any way, shape, or form. 100 millimeters would correspond to perfect execution of any age group by one person in the world. There's only one person in the world that can reach 100, and that person has the perfect execution. So 0 corresponds to can't execute, 100 millimeters over here corresponds to perfect execution from any age. Now what we do conveniently though, from when we're assessing one of the movements in the Playfun scale, is we take 50 millimeters halfway down the scale, and that actually corresponds to acquired or not acquired. So at the 50 millimeter point, halfway along the 100 millimeter scale, that says on this side that I can actually do the skill. I've got the basics of it all the way up to perfect execution. From 50 down to 0, we're basically in a developing state. That means that it's either initial in the first 25 millimeters, emerging in the next 25 millimeters. So that state is saying there's still some deficiencies in the overall execution of the movement. From 50 to 100, we basically have from 50 to 75 the competency level, and from 75 to 100 the proficiency level. So when you look at a person performing the task, what you do is you look at them do the movement, and then you judge, do they have it or do they not? 50 to 100 or 0 to 50. Then you say, where are they? Initial, emerging, competent, proficient. Once you decide those quadrants, you say, hey, they're in competency. That means they can be from 50 to 75, and you give them a ranking along that little 25 millimeters that you have to play with, and give them a little X on that score. That scale basically is very useful for you to do assessments of physical literacy on all the 18 different tasks in the Playfun instrument.